Mid, nice, edge, after dark. It's Monday. How's it going? Hope everybody survived the weekend. It's Monday night foosball here at Midnight Edge After Dark. We got a jammed-packed show for you, phrasing. I'm, of course, your Aries Primus of Rob, Robot Shlomo, who's with me as always, Mr. Tom Connors.
That's what you think. I'm not really here.
You're okay. He's having an out-of-body experience again. And joining us once again, our resident Hollywood insider, the whitest man in show business. He's got the prescription for what ails you, the script doctor.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone.
We are also by a new face around here, these parts. I'm unfamiliar with their work. Nerd Cookies.
That's because you never do the homework I send you, Rob. Hi, Nerd Cookies.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here.
I just kind of wing it.
Who do you think you are, Steve Martin on Saturday Night Live?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I do. And of course, we are joined once again by our favorite YouTube partner, Emmy. She has an Emmy, an ESPY, a Tony, a Bammy, a BAFTA, a SAG Award.
SAG Award and a new office.
A new, yes.
Backdrop.
Oh, look at
So you got Zillas.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Mecca Random.
Does it look okay?
Yeah, the porg is actually a nice touch on the mic.
You have two Baby Yodas?
Uh-huh. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Baby Yoda.
I have a few of these idiots, too.
Oh, boy. Captain Hare, we're starting early. Captain Hare with $5 super chat. I'm ready to feed on some suffering. Rob's, Tom's, Mecca's. I'm not particular tonight. Let me have it, baby. Well, it was a slow news day.
Thank you, Captain Hare, for getting us off to a good start. Well, we haven't done a show in almost a half a week, so.
Yeah, Comic-Con was a gigantic dud. Would you say that, Tom? Well, first of all, before we start, Nerd Cookies, tell us about your channel. Tell us about yourself and your channel.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Sorry about that.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me on. You guys are great. My channel's Nerd Cookies. I do sci-fi and fantasy news and lore, mostly with a focus on upcoming projects like the new Dune adaptation, Frank Herbert's Dune, and Amazon Lord of the Rings series. So you'll see a lot of those videos. So yeah, come check it out. I'm also on Twitter. If you want to follow me there?
Okay.
All right.
And also, we're trying to get Mecca up to 60,000.
60K.
60K subscribers.
A real YouTuber.
Yes. So anyway, everybody.
But don't worry about me. I'm here all the time. Focus on Nerd Cookies. Subscribe to Nerd Cookies.
No favoritism.
Oh, thank you.
No favoritism.
Yeah.
Fuck all y'all. Subscribe to Script Doctor.
Oh, leave me alone.
Tom's got a channel he doesn't do anything with. Did you subscribe here? Tom does the good fun late night shows.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to shout out.
And we got Boneheads of Cinema, though, and I swear. Okay, this is fucked up, y'all. Check this shit out. My first hour, it was dropped. It was like headed towards 2K views. Then all of a sudden, it just goes, boo. Gone.
That's what they do. That's what stupid YouTube's been doing.
Yeah, it vanished off of my subscriptions tab after, I would say, about 2 hours after it premiered, maybe. I was going back through my videos, and I was like, where's Tom's thing? I wanted to play that again. It was funny. And I had to scroll all the way down, and it wasn't there. I had to click on your actual link and go find it in the videos tab on your page.
Yeah, it was weird because it was like, let's put it this way. We've had a couple videos reach like that 40, 50,000. That's, I think, the highest we've had on MEAD. Maybe a little bit more on the. I think well, that's not true. I think our Thundercats one hit 100, if I'm not mistaken. But like it was on its way to basically being our biggest video of all time on Mead. Like there was no way it wasn't going to, and then all of a sudden it just died.
Did YouTube pull the plug on it? You think?
I think so. I think Kurtzman got pissy, and I'm not kidding. I am not kidding at all.
Yeah,
I really do.
I believe it. They will go through and flag videos, those Star Trek bots.
Because you look at like Rob, I don't know if you can still see it, but if you go into our analytics, I don't do the numbers shit, but I know when a blue line goes up and up and up and up and up and up, and the other two lines that are like my average are way down below it, and then all of a sudden the video dies, something is wrong. So that means, like I said, it was on our way to being probably our biggest video ever on Mead in no time flat. Like it should have been at like 20K the next day. Easy. But it dumped after 2 hours. There's no way. How can it get almost 2K views in 2 hours and still just be sitting like right over 2K now? That's bullshit. I don't know. Anyway, I'm done bitching about it.
Pretty much that's my experience in YouTube. It's the exact same for like every video. It's like, okay, they go and then they just die.
Yeah. Well, normally we don't have anything take off on Mead. I mean, it's just Rob's rants will do pretty good, but that's that's about our highlights. Yeah, but those don't get a lot of views. Like those are lucky to pull maybe 1,000 views. But this thing was off to a hot start. Like I don't know, I've never seen a video like that because, like I said, I don't really know the numbers that well. That's Andre's business. So
real boneheads of cinema. That's so we got I guess there's another one in the pipeline actually.
Yes, there is. Fezman sent us $5. Says, "What's better, onion rings or French fries?" Brie Larson. Brie. Is Brie asking us this, or is that something she actually said? Or you want Brie Larson to answer it?
I could see her asking this question.
I don't know. They're both so amazing and beautiful, but one's greasier than the other, so I'm gonna have to go with pancakes.
I would imagine she would choose onion rings because they're more feminine, because French fries are kind of phallic.
Yeah,
that white guy's got a point. I don't mean his penis. I mean he's making a good point.
Is it a metaphor?
It's a metaphor. If you put one of the French fries in the onion rings, yes, it is.
I think Brie wants an onion ring. She just showed up.
I so need to be onion ringed.
She showed up.
I need to be onion ringed so badly right now.
Yeah.
Do you see how badly I need to be onion ringed? Will somebody onion ring me, please? My onion ring needs to be dealt with.
She's got the crazy eyes.
It's the eyes.
Well, the last comparison a woman wants is to be told that they're like throwing a French fry through an onion ring.
Is that the old saying?
No, that's just me kind of updating the whole hot dog down a hallway.
Yes. I was going to say, I thought it was something different. Fat Steven Seagal beat up Ryan Johnson. Sent it a Canadian $2, eh? He says phallic rings. Are rings phallic, though? I'm confused.
They're kind of possessive.
Very point. That's a good point, too. All right, so if anybody who hasn't actually seen the fucking video we're talking about, I finally loaded it up here. This is
Midnight's Edge presents Real Boneheads of Cinema.
Real Boneheads of Cinema.
Today we salute you, Alex Kurtzman.
You cultural fucking locust.
You've taken a beloved 50-year-old science fiction franchise and completely destroyed it.
Oh, it didn't live long and prosper.
Likable characters? Who needs them when we've got Mikey Spock?
She's just a plank of wood.
So pour up cold beer and celebrate a special kind of stupidity that ruined Star Trek forever.
How's the Dark Universe going?
How does sonar and space work? If I know, as long as it sounds good, who cares?
You idiot, there's no sound in space.
That $25 million CBS contract sure is getting its money's worth, isn't it?
Oh, how you got ripped off.
We salute you, Alex Kurtzman, because failing upward is still a thing in Hollywood.
She a fucking hubris from a real bonehead of cinema. Sorry, I got all the extra crap on the end still.
The 93 says, do a song for Kathy next. Funny you should say that.
Funny you should mention that,
Yeah, funny.
Tiberius $5. Can I request Tom, the great Tom Connors, doing impression of Brie Larson, watching Die Hard 1 and complaining about how unwoke the film is?
I'm sure I could work something out with that, but like the quick version, I suppose would be like
maybe Brie Larson reviews.
Like, this show is so masculine, it's making me sick. Where are his shoes? Why is he jumping through the window? I wouldn't do that. I could totally do that. Like, that would be like the whole thing.
If I were Holly, I would be doing this.
Holly should totally leave him.
She would.
I do my own stunts.
I would like jump through the window. Instead of window, it would be a ceiling. So I'd be breaking the glass ceiling.
Breaking the glass ceiling. Say there's metaphors here to be had. All right. Louis the Prank, sends $5. Need more real heroes of cinema. Cheer fucking hubris. Well, like we're just saying, we're definitely planning some more. The first one should have been a huge hit for us, and it just petered out. Imagine that. But speaking of Star Trek and real sheer fucking hubris, we finally have a premiere date for season 3, even though they said it was delayed and we never got one to begin with. So I don't know why they were telling us it was delayed in the first place. But yeah, October 15th for those who give a shit.
They were trying to build suspense.
Did they just forget about it during their panels, or?
But is it okay? Here's my question, Rob. if you're on a roller, if nobody is on a roller coaster and it's still running, is it really that suspenseful?
No, I've seen just running with nobody on them. It's just like, you know, it's like playing with Hot Wheels, except it's not as nearly as fun.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the Star Trek panels, so you all have to fill me in.
Well, it was pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Probably a month and a half ago.
It was just one big panel, right? Like over an hour, and I'm like, I don't want to watch that.
On Skype. And I think the guy who hosted is like the Bizarro John Talks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's got similar mannerisms, but it's just John makes it more appealing, and this guy just was really annoying, like really. So I think he's the Bizarro John Talks.
So it's coming out this year in October? What you said? No, next year.
Season 3 is this year.
They say this year, but it might get delayed again, because wasn't season 1 originally supposed to be in October, and then they delayed it to November or December?
Yeah, but see, the difference here is they actually announced it before.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Which means that all the live action footage they have has finally been organized into a narrative that they think they can sell. So now it's 2 months of special effects post-production stuff.
I'm sure they already got started on some of it. It was really what we were hearing was the end was the problem, because they had to reshoot the finale and it took them 33 days. Anyway, Diego Flores, I didn't mean to hiccup there, sent in for 5 Peruvian souls. Isn't that it? Or what is that?
I think it is.
I think so. I think I'm getting my money's right.
Yeah, Peruvian.
As a fan of Ed, and Eddie, Plank, an actual plank of wood that was a character, had more charisma and personality than Mikey Spock.
I love Ed and Eddie.
See? You're probably the only one here who's seen it.
See, I'm just thinking of Little Wooden Boy from the Tick cartoon.
Fat Steven, I love that name. Fat Steven Seagal beat up Ryan Johnson, sending a Canadian $2. Discovery Season 3, The Search for Relevance. That's about right.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Very appropriate.
And we got a couple more rolling in here real quick. Captain Hare sends another $5. Thank you so much. They should release the whole season on Halloween and mark it as a horror movie marathon. They might actually make some money on it that way. Well, it does start 2 weeks before Halloween, so we'll get a few episodes just before. So,
oh my god,
yeah, trick or treat, motherfucker. Yeah, we're 15 minutes in. I can swear.
Adam Wolford sends in $5. Great born head of cinema. How sonar works in space. There's no sound in space. Great bonehead cinema. Because it's a fracking vacuum, just like your head, Alex Kurtzman.
Pretty much. Oh, too bad we didn't think of that line.
Radar, and you can have scanners, but you can't have sonar.
But okay.
Instead of you idiot, no, there's no sound in space. I should have saying, it's a vacuum, just like your head. I don't know. That doesn't really fit. See.
Well, I mean, I don't think this is going to be the last time you're going to have that Alex Kurtzman Bonehead of Cinema video. There's a lot to talk about.
We'll need more of those.
Well, he comes up in other places. That's the thing. Like, we've done like 5 different versions of the KK one. So, like, people already know that's the one that's next because I played it on Friday Night Tights. It's no real big secret. Our early demo. But it's gone through 2 different iterations since then, and it's probably going to go through a 3rd and a 4th. One thing I keep reminding Rob is don't bring in all these other people. They'll get their own video.
Yeah.
Because like the KK one he was working on was turning into the Ryan Johnson video. I'm like, no, wait for that. just bring up these facts, you know, like the fact that she's. Yeah, I'm gonna give away the jokes. If you didn't hear it Friday, that's too bad.
Oh God, just we can swear now, can we? Right now,
it's after 15.
Fuck up, move up. That's what it's called. Anyway. Lars Hansen, 50 Danish kroners. How can they keep finding money for one Star Trek TV movie disaster after the other? We don't know.
They really aren't. If you stop and think about it, as far as I know, there's still a question of whether or not where this season 3 is going to be shown. Because as far as I know, some people were saying something about it hadn't been announced for Netflix or anything yet. Like, so nobody even knows if Netflix, I think, is carrying season 3.
That's bad.
I don't know for sure on that. I just seen some people talking about it.
And Netflix is their distribution partner. Was their distribution partner? Jesus.
They don't even want it. They don't even want it. It's not worth the bandwidth.
Yeah, I know. We agreed to this thing, but yeah, we're good.
But remember, because Mecca, you sent me the original story that how they like to tote their little season 4 is happening.
Yeah.
Remember that story said it was going to get announced at San Diego Comic-Con. Right after San Diego Comic-Con, what happened? All those stories disappeared.
Yeah.
Gone. Because I went to try and find one for our video. I couldn't. And the original one that Mecca sent me, they took it out of that story. Like it used to say in the story, they were expected to announce it at San Diego Comic-Con. Now all it says is it's just in the works. That's all.
Yeah. Well, that's because when they announced that, we had already disproven it because that was when Jonathan Frakes was filming. They're just wrapping season 3, and they had confirmed that. Like he says that's a wrap, and he tweets that out in February.
Yeah, well, they wrapped it twice.
Yeah, they wrapped it when
they were reshoots, and then we heard specifics on the reshoots where it was 33 days they were reshooting the finale. Blah, I can't talk, which is basically a movie schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So there's their movie rumors that we keep hearing about.
Now, Nerd Cookies is the guest here. Have you seen any of this new version of Star Trek?
I've seen a few episodes of Picard.
What did you think?
Well, I haven't finished the season, so yeah, no. I thought the first episode was promising, but it got so boring. I just was struggling to even finish the next 2 episodes. It was so boring. Just for him to get to the ship was just so slow and painstakingly so. It was. And just what they've done to this universe, the Federation, I don't recognize anymore. It looked like the Mirror Universe. Like, is this the Mirror Universe? We don't know, because that would make more sense to me.
Well,
it
actually makes more sense that way.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if they really knew, because we had this theory all along. They were in the Mirror Universe, and then they had it. Lorca came from the Mirror Universe, but then when we went to San Diego or Star Trek Las Vegas last year, Lorca, the guy who played Lorca, what's his name, Mecca?
Something
Jason
Isaacs.
Jason Isaacs.
Jason Isaacs.
Yeah, Jason Isaacs said right on stage what was the quote? They had no fucking clue what they were going to do at the end of the show, or what they were going to do with Lorca, basically, which is basically what the end of the show was all about.
Yeah. Well, they didn't know, like, even going into it, like, they offered the job. He thought about it for a while, and he's like, well, I need more backstory. And they're like, oh, yeah, we have no fucking clue.
Yeah, he said they had no idea how they were going to end it or something like that was what he said.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and they were making up as they were going along, and here they had all this information saying how, oh yes, we had this story planned. It was always going to be this way. It was always going to go into the mirror universe, and no, they didn't. They didn't always have it planned because they didn't cast him until, however far into production. Because then they change it anyway. They
reshot the first pilot, I think twice, didn't they, Rob? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was really, they reshot the first pilot twice. It was unwatchable from what we heard, the first version of it. And so they went back and they reshot it. And they reshot it, and it became the Battle of the Binary Stars.
Yeah,
and the first, they started production on. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tom. They started production under Brian Fuller, right? They had filmed something.
I don't think they ever filmed anything under Brian. I think all they had was. Pre-production. We have in our possession his outlines for the whole season, though.
We do,
and we do. And the first two scripts, the one that Nicholas Meyer worked on, I know that.
The con one.
No. He actually worked on the first original. Here's the thing that I don't think Nicholas Meyer could say when I had the interview with him because he was under NDA. I think he was gone the moment Fuller was gone.
Mm-hmm.
From what it sounds like to me, because he was working directly with Fuller. Because I can't believe we haven't sent you that script. I'll talk to Andre. I'll see if we can get that to you.
Well, the other thing he said was that there seemed to be nobody in charge.
But the version that I'm talking about, though, would be the one that had Ephraim in it or whatever, instead of the tardigrade, or as the tardigrade.
Yeah, Ephraim was the tardigrade, and he was a fully fleshed out Chewbacca-like character.
He was an engineering officer, if I recall, right?
Yeah. And then we also have the entire outline for the whole season that would have been his show.
Where's Robert Meyer Burnett when we need him?
Right?
Meyer Burnett rattle this off the top of his head.
Yeah, he could.
But the whole thing is, like I said, they were in pre-production. Then Fuller leaves or gets fired, whichever version you want to believe. I think he was fired. But and then Alex Kurtzman comes in, and that's when everything starts.
Well, I question the firing business you're cutting out here, Rob.
I don't know what's that's about. I mean,
it sounds like something's running on the background or something.
Maybe,
but I question the whole thing with him being fired because the reasons we kept being told that he was let go or left the show was he was costing too much money. But then Alex Kurtzman comes in and revamps the entire thing and ends up pushing the production probably twice the cost of what it was initially. Because that's what we heard was that Moonves was bitching that the show was costing so much, which makes no sense. Why bring in Alex Kurtzman? I think they were forced to bring in Alex Kurtzman by JJ.
Yeah, I think there was something to do with the Bad Robot contract with regards to the Discovery show. This is just a speculation.
But that's because JJ always said that they were going to make TV shows and movies. So I think the Bad Robot contract covered TV shows as well.
Yeah, and I think because Brian Fuller's not really associated with Secret Hideout or Bad Robot, that came into dispute. So what they ended up having to do, I think Moonves had to technically buy out Fuller and then bring in Alex Kurtzman to work the show to fit under the Bad Robot Secret Hideout contracts.
Yeah, and again, like people call us bullshit or make shit up. Like we've almost basically proven every bit and part of our reporting except for that part. Like that's the only piece of the puzzle I cannot get an answer to. And even Robert Meyer Burnett himself cannot tell me the answer in private. Like he knows, but he can't tell me. Like it's that lock and keyed. Like if it gets out there, I have a feeling it would be very bad for Brian. So like that's take that as you will. I'll put it like that. Corbin X says, thank you all for what you do. Blessed be safe. Blessed be and be safe. Well, thank you, Corbin X. We appreciate that. And we hope you and yours are safe as well. Rob, you want to get this one from Lee Jordan?
Yeah, Lee Jordan, $4.99. Alex Kurtzman is reeing after hearing that super chat.
I have a strong feeling that somebody in his camp has seen that fucking video and like, oh, we gotta do something about this. And then they suppressed it after about 2 hours.
They always have the Trek bots on us, like those marketing accounts, and you see them. There's no other reason why, and they are. Here, I got 3 thoughts here. Let me try and wrap them up. You see these marketing accounts who tweet out the exact same thing over and over and over again, and they use a lot of the same hashtags, and I'm not going to say what they are, but they have admitted that they have this marketing group, this global franchise group, that are out there on social media, that are out there on their pre-approved podcasts. That's why you have that Star Trek daily news thing. That's why you have all of these people with their tendrils and everything. And we know that these marketing accounts exist. So their job is to sit there and count how much footage you use, how much, even their bots are out there actively, aggressively over-programmed to silence anybody talking.
Well, we know that because they
strike them. They block themselves. They didn't strike it, but they blocked their own footage.
Yeah, they struck they claimed or whatever it was. It was down for a while. It's back up now, but
it's completely blocked.
The
panel. The panel. I couldn't think of the word.
1 second too long, and they block your whole video. They don't even claim it.
Oh, they went back and they claimed a bunch of still images.
Yeah.
On our older videos, like Andre, that's why on our last video we did not some kid art, because he's like, we're not taking any fucking chances on this one. They went back and they've claimed a bunch of our older shit, so we're clearly under attack.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not, this is nothing new, but I mean,
this is why I have people like the same accounts that I'll see from years and years and years ago. It's like, dude, I've blocked you. I've blocked your butt. I'll see people responding to these accounts. I'm like, dude, you're coming in, you're jumping in. It's the same thing with the Bree bots. It's the same thing with all of these accounts. You have these paid image management sort of people, these people who are just there to create social media buzz, just there to trend hashtags. And they sit there on all of the YouTube videos, and that's why, and even I think some of them have YouTube channels even. They're not very successful on a lot of them, but some of these...
we know the one does, for a fact. The one that really started a lot of the bullshit with us.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. I'm not going to say his name, but I think we all know who he is. Diego Flores sends, there's 2 of them now, Peruvian $5. You could do a Redux remix of the Kurtzman song once you guys have a catalog as to update it to the current situation. That's not a bad idea, actually. We'll see how it goes. I mean, we got plenty now to start with, and we don't want to push it too fast, too many. But, we've got, Kathleen's in the pipeline. There's always Ryan and JJ, of course, and quite a few others. That Amy Pascal will be another one that'll come up, I'm sure. That's a classic. Rothman. All the goodies, of course. Did I miss super chat here? Is that what this is?
There's one I just tossed into the private chat just in case it scrolls past you.
Okay, because did I accidentally miss it? Then that's okay.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's possible because these go by real quick sometimes.
Yeah, like I'm seeing it on the comments tab just flying.
I see that too.
Oh, okay. Yes, I did. I'm so sorry, Cash Kester. I did miss this one, and luckily it's still here. Got my otherwise I could just bring up the other thing, but got my Last Jedi Has Not Canon 2 nights ago. Sweet. Can't wait to wear it tonight to piss off my friend who likes the dumpster fire. Well, hopefully you don't start a fight. You'll have to send us a picture. Hopefully it's great quality. I know the shirts I've gotten so far have been really, really good quality. That's why we chose that company as opposed to the more popular one, should we say. All right. Gosh, where did we leave off here now? Search for relevance. We got that one.
This whole thing, though, I mean, with the whole thing. Adam Wolford, Little Wooden Boy. It's still better character than Mikey Spock. Love that episode.
I want to be a real boy. I mean, girl. I mean, I don't know what I am. Thank you so much, Adam. We appreciate that.
So are they erased from the current timeline? Is that what's happened?
Star Trek?
By going into the future? Is that...
Well, technically now they would be... Yeah, see, the first 2 seasons took place like 8 years before TOS, even though there's no fucking way they line up in any way, shape, or form. And then, now they jumped 1,000 years or whatever into the future at the end of season 2.
You didn't want to deal with canon, yeah.
Well, this should have been the beginning of the show. We've all said this from the start. Like, if you would have just set this show in the future in the first place, or set it up like this advanced ship was there, but then it disappeared and we don't know where it's at. But then, like Mecca said, that's a lot like Deep Space Nine. Or not Deep Space Nine.
Or Andromeda, right?
Yeah, Deep Space Nine, right?
No, Andromeda.
Yeah.
Which one?
Which one is the one with the ship lost and they got to get home? Is that Voyager?
Oh,
Voyager. That's Voyager.
Voyager. Okay, yeah. See, I'm not real up on DS9 and Voyager, so.
I love Voyager.
See, that's why I got Mecha and Rob.
Voyager holds up a lot better now. Years later, 20 odd years later, it really does. After seeing how bad STD and Picard are, Voyager is like it's like welcoming an old friend back into your house. Oh, yeah. How's it going?
Yes. I've heard a lot of people say the same thing about Enterprise too. Yeah.
Well, I always liked Captain Janeway and her interaction with Tuvok. Just their relationship throughout the seasons was very strong and very.
That was the only thing consistent with Janeway, sadly. Like, her relationship to Tuvok was the only consistent character trait they managed to hold onto. They changed so many writers in that show, and they had some behind the scenes problems that Captain Janeway just she would do one thing one episode, and then the next episode she'd do the exact opposite. That would contradict the ethics of the first one.
Yeah,
I keep saying
we can change our minds.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, just
but they did it well. At least they had a plan, and they fit it into the Star Trek universe. They're not even trying to do that. Like, throw canon out the window, throw all these established and beloved characters, change them fundamentally, just do whatever. And I don't get why. Because they don't want to stick with Star Trek, just go to something else.
Oh, it's too expensive to market sompen else.
Yeah, I mean, look at the struggle the Orville.
They're making money right now.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There's a fundamental lack of logic within the system of Hollywood between the accountants, the advertisers, and the creatives.
And I was so surprised to hear that the Michael is the lead character, that she was Spock's sister in a way or something.
Oh, adopted sister, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and like they didn't realize how like you're making such a huge change, and obviously Spock never mentioned this person before. Like,
well, their excuse was he never mentioned his brother either.
But his family, we've seen his family like so consistently throughout the movies and TV.
Yes,
movies. But that's the thing is that I don't think they even paid attention to the fact that a lot of people dislike the film where his brother just pops up too, because isn't that the one that everybody dislikes?
Yeah. Number 5.
Yeah, that's
but then they made him. But then they made her like a fundamental part of his character. The new Spock.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, now like she gives him permission to be Vulcan, or no, permission to be human.
Yeah.
We call him Pecker Spock.
The weird thing is that Sybok was kind of like an embarrassment in Vulcan, so like you can understand why Spock wouldn't really speak of him, because you have a Vulcan that embraces emotions, which is counter to the philosophy of Vulcan, right? So you can kind of justify that a lot easier. Isn't he
kind of a bastard son though too at the same time as well?
He was from Sarek's previous marriage.
Oh, he was married. Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, a previous.
It's been a long time since I watched 5.
It's been a long time, but the thing is, there's a lot less suspension of disbelief required to buy into Sybok than with Mikey Spock. Like that's the thing. Like you have to really like just throw a lot out.
Well, you make a good point, because making him the villain sets you up to like, okay, well, that would be why he would never talk about him, as opposed to like Mikey. Yeah, they leave on such a note to where you would think that all he would ever talk about is how much he loved his sister and misses her, and it's like.
And don't even think for a second that if they managed to somehow, some way get Strange New Worlds off the ground, that Spock would be having like personal logs or something, or just be like referring to how he's trying to be as strong and logical as his fake sister.
See, now I keep thinking myself, we were talking about Voyager before.
Oh, well, we forgot to tell her the most important part, Rob, before you go on. The whole thing about how they finished it up and tied it up in a neat little bow. We don't talk about Discovery. We just don't talk about
it.
Okay. All these people who saw the ship, who remember the ship, who served on it, who had relatives who served on it, all the people who encountered the ship during the Klingon War, and that everybody who died had relatives who lost family. Yeah, we don't talk about that.
That's literally how they ended that season. They're like, we just don't talk about it now.
I don't know why I thought they were just erased through in the timeline or something.
No, they were just classified.
So they just don't talk about it.
But she gave him permission to be human.
She
was that integral.
That's classified, Mecca.
You want to know how idiotic that is? I looked into this. The people who claimed the moon landing was faked. You know how many people NASA would have sworn to secrecy?
I just seen the math on this. Like they did this deal. Like it would literally have taken less than 3 years and 411 people to actually cover it up, and 4 years for it to actually leak out. Yeah, and be
they would have to swear 441,000 people to secrecy in order to fake the moon.
What it was, yeah, something like that.
Fucking stupid! Do you think we are? People are just gonna forget about this.
Well, that's like the person making the point is like most, we're quick to believe certain things, but then like a conspiracy opens up. But like he literally did the math, and Rob's right. Like for every conspiracy that's been out there that's never been proven or whatever, it would have been disproven if it was true, or proven if it was true, because of the amount of people that would have been able to talk about it over time, and it just gets out there, and then the guy uses a funny thing. He's like, like when you try to plan a surprise party for your cousin Dana's finding out once you've told that fourth person, there's no way you're keeping it from Dana. So just imagine the amount of people that would have to keep quiet, and then he goes into all the numbers and shit. 52 movies here. We got to get caught up on these super chats. I'm very sorry, guys. I'm starting a new talent agency, FUMU Promotions. Thanks for the name, Rob. Is Rob going to be your first client?
Probably.
Cash Kester sent $2. And I'm sorry, Cash. Says, not to be petty, you missed my previous chat. No, that's not petty at all. I apologize for that. And you shouldn't have to send in another $2. Script or one of our other mods will probably catch it for us. So if not, just keep reminding me if that happens again, because sometimes these blow right past me and I don't see them all the time. And I apologize for that. I should just bring up the other thing, but it takes up so much bandwidth and stuff. So I just usually have this up, and that's it. So
yes, StreamYard can, if StreamYard, anyone from StreamYard's listening out there, can you please make a desktop app? Because this, if that would help it run smoother. I mean, because running through
in a browser, yeah,
it sucks up a lot of resources. I'm maxing out. I'm like at 100% CPU usage right now.
Yeah, I'm at 95.
Yeah. And I just added some RAM to this thing to shore it up a little bit too. I mean, not a lot, but.
And just to make sure we didn't miss anybody else's super chats, just let us know in the chat if we did. Just be like, hey, you missed my chat. I'll make sure I didn't. Fat Steven Seagal beat up Ryan Johnson once again. That poor Ryan Johnson is dead by now. Canadian $2. Cultural Locust Coffee, the franchise. Cultural Locust Coffee, the franchise killer blend.
George Carlin said one time about, he goes, what do you, referring to the OJ trial, what do you think about, and this kind of applies to Ryan Johnson. I'm not saying any harm is going to come to Ryan Johnson, but, certain people, he goes, what do you think about the Nicole and Ron Goldman? Yeah, maybe they had it coming.
Well, they were cheating on OJ. I mean, I'm not going to say that much else than that. I'm not saying they deserved it, but holy cow, Diego Flores. I don't even know the math on that one.
That's around $50, I think.
I was going to say, judging by the color. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Rob.
Diego Flores, 169.90 Peruvian sols. The attacks on the channel remind me of how Mr. Mustache. Can we say the name, or do we?
Yeah, we're late.
Mr. Mustache.
Mr. Mustache changed from attacking military bases to civilian targets when the situation needed Britain to surrender quickly. I take this as though we are pushing them back. Keep the pressure. Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, we appreciate your help there. That will help out a lot. And yeah, I mean, like Mecca said, it's pretty obvious. We've seen it happen to all of us. Mecca, Doomcock, even Gary and some of the other ones have had, videos that get suppressed. It's getting ridiculous. And it's so obvious. Like, it'd be different if we'd be like, we're just spouting a bunch of conspiracy theory bullshit. No. When people are telling us what Script said, he can't even find it in the fucking feed. And, I've got people coming and telling me how I didn't see this and da-da-da-da. And I haven't gotten up till now. I haven't checked it in the last couple hours here, but we hadn't gotten one negative response in the comments. We got only a couple thumbs down. The only negative response I seen was one guy bitching that we didn't bring up all the other franchises he destroyed. And it's like,
well, it's kind of like a badge of honor.
Yeah,
You're
it's
doing
like
something right.
Well, I mean, we
you a
did
threat.
mention the mummy, but it's like, hey, yeah. Willie Woodward sends in $2. A good friend says, just wanted to say hi. Well, hi, Willie. How you doing?
Hi.
I know Rob and I hang out on his chats once in a great while. I think have you been on there too, Script?
I was on there a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fun to talk to. Matt Deckard sent $5. Star Trek was pretty much the only ship of the line drama out there. Even Sequest wasn't about a normal ship. Oh, you mean like it was revolved around the ship kind of thing? Is that what you're getting at, Matt? Yeah, kind of. Well, it was. Well, wasn't that kind of the whole thing? It was like what's Horatio Hornblower in space originally, wasn't it, Rob?
Yeah, or Wagon Train Among the Stars. Yeah,
Wagon Train and the Stars. Wagon Train.
Yeah. And we got Stephen Walton
having a standing set while also being able to go to new places. It was a pretty interesting formula. They didn't have much of things like that in TV in those days.
Yeah, and we got Stephen Walton in the chat, who right now you can get his audiobook for The Phantom Menace Volume 1, narrated by Rob himself. You can get that at Audible, and if you go to our through our Audible link, which is like audible.com/Midnight's Edge, all one word, or text 500, text midnight to 500, you can get a special deal if you've not signed up for Audible already, and then check out his book. We do recommend it, so do check that out.
Hey, Stephen. Good to see you.
All right, we got a couple more super chats here, and then we should be caught up. Casperius, just to be petty, please notice my super chat. Well, Casperius, I notice your super chat. Thank you so much, Casperius. He's a good buddy. Pops into all the chats when he can. All you guys here tonight, I'm so wow. I can't believe there's over 400 of you guys watching. If you can hit that like button real quick, that would help us out a lot. And do check out all these fine folks' channels, including Mecca, Nerd Cookies, Script Doctor. You don't have to worry about Rob's channel, but
I yell about Star Trek.
Yeah, Rob doesn't really do anything over there. He doesn't do anything anywhere. No, just kidding.
I use him on my channel.
I say he's more on your channel than anything.
Yeah, than anyway.
The Lower Decks video actually did pretty well on your channel.
There you go. See?
Yeah, I think we have another one that I have to upload at some point too. Or actually, you ranted about this when I was moving my office. We took time out.
Okay, and Adam Wolford sent $10 to clarify. Season 3 for STD is like Andromeda, where the ship went missing right before the fall of Commonwealth, being stuck in a black hole, then come back to a different galaxy. Yeah, that's what it kind of sounds like. And it sounds like they're setting up the fall of the Federation or Starfleet, whichever one, in Picard. It's all going to hell, folks.
I'm scared. I'm scared for the future.
You should be.
Oh gosh, Picard is horrible.
It sucks because in the mid 80s through the 90s to the early aughts, when Star Trek was on the air, we all had hope for the future. Even during the really rough times of reality, we all felt like, you know what, maybe we'll get our act together. Maybe we'll have something like Star Trek. And then it got canceled. We never saw it again.
Yeah.
I brought up a good point. I brought up a point, though, actually. Right around that time, the mid-90s, is when a lot of heroes started falling from grace. A lot of celebrities. I mean, you had the public humiliation of Hugh Grant. You had Bill Clinton getting caught with his, the you-know-what and you-know-where. Michael Jordan. I mean, you had a lot of people being disgraced publicly. Are we really that surprised that this whole deconstruction thing has carried over into our pop culture now?
Well, no, not only that, Rob. Like, how is it like, look, they love to build them up, but they love even more to tear them down. Yeah. Look at what happened to Johnny Depp. Look at what happened to any big person in the like you just half of them that you brought up. Anytime anybody hits that high, they're just waiting for that moment to tear them right down. And I even look at people like Justin fucking Bieber who deserve it.
Look at, what was that line from the first Spider-Man movie? One thing.
People love a hero, but they love them more when they fail.
Yeah, and Spider-Man's a lot about that, and we're even seeing that kind of play out again here in this newer version as well. Mark C sends in another $5. Nothing against Andre, but Rob is the best narrator on YouTube.
Come on.
When I first come onto the channel, that's what I said. Like when Andre tells me something, I know I'm going to get something like underground, dirty, gritty news. I'm not supposed to hear. But then when Rob's doing the narration, I feel like I'm watching something like on the Discovery Channel or the History Channel. Like he's got that, or behind the VH1, he's got that VH1 behind the music voice. You know, like, and then tragedy struck. You know, like,
yeah. Should we be doing movie trailers?
Oh, I'm the movie trailer guy. In a world. That's not even my good voice.
Yeah, well, like Rob, you're really absolutely right. This was something I started picking up in our entertainment in early 2000. The first one being, of course, the Smallville with Alfred Goh and Miles Miller. They developed that. That was a deconstruction, and a lot of people really liked it at the time it aired. But I was getting kind of fed up with it after the first few episodes because Clark Kent was just a whiner, and that just seems like an out-of-character approach to someone who is a farm boy who's kind of excited but also concerned about his powers. But in this case, he's like, no, everything's my fault. It's all my fault. I shouldn't be doing this. I want to reject everything. Typical teen angst. And they just kind of built a formula that has been used in other shows throughout entertainment since that launch. They're kind of like the founding fathers of current deconstructionism, and also I guess recasting against familiar character types. So Pete Ross was, I think, like a blonde or a ginger in the comics, and they replaced him with a decent actor at the time, Sam Jones, not Flash Gordon. But and then they changed Lana Lang, who was a redhead, to Kristen Crook, who is a whisper, quote unquote, actress, can't project, which is kind of a thing an actor needs. Actress. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not to disrupt this, I do want to say we do pay attention as much as we can to the chat. There was a question our Route 66 put earlier, but I can't find it now. I wanted to address real quick. Yeah, Moonves did put, I believe the timing of Moonves giving Kurtzman that $25 million 5-year deal was no coincidence. I really think he knew the writing was on the wall and he wanted somebody in there to fulfill his legacy. Yeah,
a $5 million a year contract as a producer and showrunner, which is peanuts technically
for a mate. That's why in the joke
for that type of franchise,
even for $25 million, CBS got ripped off.
I think that's also. I think that's a little bit cheaper than what Enterprise got when they did their launch, but I have to double check the numbers on that.
Oh, you just got to compare it to like JJ's contracts and stuff like that.
Do you think it was to poison the well for Sherry Redstone?
I think so. I think it was just to make sure he had somebody in his place because he sees. Well, that's the thing. CBS All Access is like his legacy. What's the one thing he can hang on to that if, after everything's said and done, that if it was at least a hit, which it isn't, but if it was, he could at least say, well, that was my deal. You know what I mean? Goddess of Whim sends a 2000. God, do I script her name? Bless you, Rob. Goddess of Whim 2003 sends us a $2 super chat. Like I said last week, my favorite part of Mondays. Well, we're glad to hear that.
Aww,
we are glad to be here for you guys. Mr. Wolverine 007 sends in $5. This is a super chat. You guys are a super team. Wow. That's cool.
I picture Les Moonves being hauled away, like at the end of a Scooby-Doo cartoon.
I would have do with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Yeah.
Too bad it wasn't because of us. That'd have been hilarious.
That's you remember at the end of that Doomcock animation? Yeah, Kois is Midnight Edge. I'll get you yet.
Fat Steven Seagal beat up Ryan Johnson coming in again like a trooper. Canadian $2. Tom owns every Bieber album. True story.
Is it?
Honestly, no. I don't own one single Bieber album. I don't even know if I have a Bieber song in my repertoire.
Do people buy albums anymore?
I do once in a great while.
I do.
I've just always called them albums, whether it's a CD or whatever. But I mean, I still have LPs. Yeah.
The freaking 20th anniversary Flaming Pie actually is coming out this.
Actually, believe it or not, LPs have been outselling MP3s and CDs for like the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
And then, it's crazy, right?
You know something's up when Walmart actually has records. So.
Walmart used to account for 20% of all music sales in America.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, like if whatever Walmart's carrying, that's the norm now. Like, yeah, their CD section is like nothing. Their DVD and Blu-ray section's done and nothing.
Oh, I remember memories.
I wonder. People would go to Walmart to get the new Faith Hill. Oh, she sings nice.
Going through CDs, yeah.
I hate to break and burst everybody's bubble, but unless you're buying vintage, it's just a digital master, folks. You might as well buy a CD. Captain Aaron sends $2. Conversational Norwegian with Andre. Do it. Well, it's funny. I've tried to get Stieg and him at the same time so I can have two Norwegians. And
so you can prove
yeah, prove both that they're two different people, and then just just ask them questions from their point of view about how crazy Americans are. So
they talk about it behind their back in their language.
Do you remember?
It would be awesome.
Tom, do you remember Steve Stevens? He used to play for who was he in? What band was he in? He was in a bunch of other bands.
Name sounds kind of familiar, but not. Unless you can tell me a band offhand, probably not.
Yeah, Steve. Well, he was a big guitarist in the.
I'm not knowing up on the know of people.
Anyway. But anyway,
that's that guy to me.
Yeah, but anyway, when he there was a thing about that on MTV about when vinyl was starting to fall off and cassettes were starting to fall off, CDs were starting to become more popular. Oh, all those old albums, you almost want to hear them with all those crackles and pops. Like, fuck you. No, I don't. If I want crackles and pops when I listen to my music, I'll eat a bowl of Rice Krispies. Come on.
Right. There is this, I'm sure there is just this hipster / whatever group that likes the idea of the vintage aspect of it. Like, these are the same people who are buying VCRs and VHS tapes at Hot Topic and shit or whatever. Fuck.
Billy Idol. He played guitar for Billy Idol.
Billy Idol. But no, let's be real, folks. The only reason to own any of these is if they did a piss poor job on the remasters, quote unquote remasters, and they haven't done a new version in the last 10, 15 years or less, then yeah, maybe, just maybe, the vinyl will sound a little better. But again, it all depends on your setup. And if you got a shit vinyl, it's going to sound like shit. So no matter what you do, it's just, yeah.
The only thing I'd like to get, talk about VHS, vintage VHS, is I'd like to get an original pressing of the first G.I. Joe miniseries, because in the original broadcast, 1983, Cobra, the masks were red, like the comic book. It was more leaning towards the comic book, and then they changed it for when it was re-aired later on. Yeah, and
check YouTube. I would think it'd be on YouTube.
Yeah, I did. I can't find a vintage.
Then you're just making it up in your head.
No. No.
Well, you live in an area. Get your butt up there and find one of those VHS places, and I'm sure somebody's got it. Yeah, there's stores that got tons of, in the basement. They got I watched a documentary and you're nearby some of those stores.
Yeah, like bodegas type of thing.
Well, they're they do a lot of vintage VHS collecting and selling. Little hole in the wall places. Yeah.
There used to be a place. I think they're closed now, though. Not closed as in closed now time of day, but I think they closed up shop a few years ago.
That's plausible. But I remember watching a VHS documentary, and there's a ton of these little places, because the big thing is things kind of like that, what you're looking for, but even more so that are completely out of print, that, the rights have gotten in the way, or they'll just never see the light of day because they're just, not a big movie. So there's a market out there for a lot of people, because, in the VHS boom, there was a bunch of shit that never made its way to DVD that it will never see Blu-ray or digital. It's just not going to happen. They're not going to spend the money on it. So there's a market for it. And some of the more VHSs that are worth a lot of money are the more rare films that'll just never get another release because, they're just so lowbrow horror films and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
John Willis sends us a $5 super chat, Rob, and then we can move on to some more other topics here. I think we've been talking way too long on Star Trek.
Isn't Q the ultimate vision age of the patriarchy? Mikey Spock versus Q, who wins?
Q would kick her ass. She wouldn't know what to do with Q. Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. She would tell Q how to Q.
And Q would look at her. Q would look at her like, oh.
No, that's what'll happen at the end of season 3. She'll evolve to be the first of the Q and then be able to.
Don't you fucking dare! Script, I will reach through this fucking thing and choke your ass out.
But they've already filmed it. There's no way they can do it now. It's good. We're safe. They wouldn't have come up with that idea.
Q would whisk her away. What happened to her? Oh, she's fine. I've turned her into an Andorian slug. to teach her some little humility.
We're all
No, he turned her into the Ryza mating statue that Riker told Picard to buy.
Yeah, Rob does a pretty good cue.
It's the same registry. Ian Slater, $5. Take my money. LOL. Picked up a run today. Glad to hear the panel on my drive. Oh, cool. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
Q on Picard would just be horrible though, because Picard would just be like, "I'm sorry, Q. I'm sorry for being white and male."
Oh no, Q would come in and be like, "I'm sorry, Picard, you failed because you're no longer human."
Yeah.
And the whole thing of theirs was like he was the example to prove that humanity is worth living.
There was a lot of yelling at Picard always when the ones I did watch.
I held you up as an exemplary example of humanity, Jean-Luc, and now you've become a piece of plastic.
What can I say? I'm nothing but a fuck up because I'm a white male. I'm sorry.
Oh, white male this, white male that. It's just another convenient excuse you have to divide yourselves. Humanity is so petty.
I still like boobies and I like dune buggies. Does that count?
Well, I suppose it does.
All right. Nikki D sends us $10. Go ahead and get that around.
Part of my ignorance, but if these recent Star Trek shows aren't bringing enough viewers, why is Alex Kurtzman still at CBS? He's got a contract.
There's
they have
contract
to, I guess.
part. As far as like the shows that are out there, they've gotten funding already, but I'm not sure what's going on with season 3 of Discovery yet. So we'll see. Because I guess they haven't announced any dates for it overseas.
The only guaranteed distribution I know of for Star Trek season 3 is through CTV Space or CTV Sci-Fi Channel. Like they're the only ones I know that they're going to fork over some money to distribute it here in Canada. That's about it.
Oh, really?
So something I did hear about today, but I didn't realize was going on, was that the producer for Wrath of Khan is pitching his own idea for a film that is in canon, in Star Trek canon, to Paramount Pictures.
Oh, this is news to me.
Oh, really?
Which producer? Because I thought Harv Bennett passed away.
Robert Salin.
Oh.
So he's in talks. He said he's just been talking on the phone with them.
Oh.
But they're basically waiting to see what Noah Hawley does because there's like 2 Star Trek films, I guess, being pitched.
Noah Hawley's doing nothing.
One the Kelvin timeline, but he says his is in canon. So I was like, well, that's all. I didn't even know that was a thing.
That seems suspect because Noah Hawley's working on the next iteration of Fargo.
It was on comicbook.com, I think, is where I read that.
Oh, here it is.
Let's see.
On redshirtsalwaysdie.com, the Wrath of Khan producer's new script should include William Shatner from 10 hours ago. Huh, interesting. Well, here was the thing. Yeah, the Noah Hawley one, if that was, they were pushing that because that's supposed to be to take place of Star Trek 4. Because they have to get a 4th film off the ground, or Bad Robot's going to lose their license, from what we heard.
And rightfully so.
I think William Shatner would be great to see.
Of course it would be.
I think he still looks good.
The guy's 90 and he doesn't look any older than he did when he was 60 doing the Denny Crane show.
He looks better than Picard. I mean, Patrick Stewart's 80 years old now. He just turned 80.
You know you want me to come back. You know you want Trek with me, Kirk.
Not with these new people writing it. These people are terrible.
Yeah, there's
I didn't die under the bridge. It's all in your head.
Shatner hosting The Unexplained is also, he's pretty virile still.
No, you don't get it. I was in the Nexus. That didn't happen.
Well, recently he slapped back or clapped back at the producers and their whole diversity and inclusion crap on Twitter.
You mean Dick?
No, their whole diversity. He said stuff.
Diversity, inclusion,
finally
compassion.
they tackled this subject or whatever he said. It was just kind of
no, Dick. Diversity, inclusion, compassion, and kindness. Hail Cecil.
Cecil's love, Cecil is life.
That's right. I know who Cecil is. He's
Cecil.
good people's.
He is, isn't he? Cecil raising some nice bank off of the publicity now. He's like the
That's
two
right.
He's like the 2 Live crew of Comicsgate. They tried to ban him, and look what happens. They just become more popular.
William Shatner is here to say, go buy Cecil's book today. And Priceline.com will help you plan your next trip. I got stock in the company.
Oh, thank goodness they're finally addressing the issue.
Thank goodness they're finally addressing the issue.
Champions of diversity.
Was my sarcasm not thick enough for you? Was it not thick enough for you? Oh, thank goodness.
I don't get why these
Finally.
people think that they invented diversity. They invented strong female characters. Star Trek was always had a wide array of different people, different species, and
I know I banged them all in my dressing room.
If Major Grin is out there listening, I want to see him do a Mikey Spock versus Catherine Janeway cut.
Speaking of Mikey Spock, Louis the Plank sends in $2. Says he's got. Is that Trump as John Wayne?
Yes,
how would that even
so.
sound? Who is worse, Mikey Spock or Rose Tico? Pilgrim.
Rose Tico still had potential.
Yeah, Mikey Spock is like the destroyer of worlds. Rose Tico is just annoying. She's just like a thorn in the side of what is a bigger problem.
And a bad driver. Way to lean into the stereotype. Being bad drivers.
I think it's terrible. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that they like to say that they're championing diversity. Oh, look, we have all these different ethnicities. We are including all these different kinds of peoples, but they didn't do anything with these characters. It really was a disservice to both Rose Tico and Finn. And who had any problem with this? No one had any problem with what these people look like. It was just their characters weren't fleshed out. Their stories were basically didn't matter.
They were sidelined.
Really, yeah, exactly. So they didn't live up to what they were trying to do. It was just like it ended up just being a token inclusion.
It's where they literally get sidelined at the end of The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
so
it
they
Rise
can
of
focus more time on the white girl.
Well, no, I mean at the end when she crashes into him, they get pushed off to the side of the fight, like they literally get sidelined.
Literally, that's not true.
Willie Woodward sends $5. Says, "Have you guys seen Crossing Swords on Hulu? Sounds gay. I think you'll like it, especially Rob. That's why it's probably gay." No, I'm kidding. I've not seen it. We'll have to check it out. I'll have to give Rob the Hulu password. Fat Steven Seagal beat up Ryan Johnson again. Oh wait, I got to put on my mask here. Hang on. Star Trek Priceline. Watch it now. It's a great show. We help people get to different worlds through Priceline.
At discount rates.
At discount rates. Save 25% or more on your stay at Jupiter. So what are you waiting for? Call Star Trek Priceline now.
There you go. Like that's what Kirk does in his retirement years. He advertises galactic discounts, care of Federation Transport.
I love those commercials.
Something about old Shatner is just so charming. Ian Slater sent $5. Good buddy of ours. Have a feeling Burnham will rip on Picard in season 3 for destroying the Federation, continuing the trend of Picard bashing. I don't think you're wrong. I think we've all said that, right, Rob? Where we basically kind of figured that where this is all leading to. The destruction of the Federation. It'll be all blamed on Picard and his business. And
it was your hubris. It was your hubris, Jean-Luc.
Well, no, it's that stupid tentacle monster thing that was in Discovery that's following him around.
Yeah.
Well, Picard and
why is everything Picard's fault?
Yeah, and he created it or something.
Because he's an old white man.
Because I'm the whitest male on the show that's still alive.
I just find it so funny that he was okay with this. He wanted this kind of storyline and treatment to his character.
Not only that, he was like one of the more macho male kind of characters, like in a sense, like even though he was all like British and proper, like he was probably the most misogynistic of all the leads outside of maybe what's his face from Enterprise?
Bakula?
Bakula.
Scott
But, yeah, but see, like he's playing that to form. Like, I mean, we know these that as we go through these shows, like especially they brought it up in like the original show, like with Nichelle Nichols, where she's like, "Oh, we're way past all this crap." Like the Abraham Lincoln episode. I think it's more
the Savage Curtain. Yeah,
it's more than just the race thing, though. Too, it's the sex thing too. Like, it's never been a thing like, oh, women can't do this or women can't do that on Star Trek. I don't ever remember an episode where that's been the issue, unless it was an outside force. Like they had to deal with certain things, like the episode in Next Gen where you had like the three the people that had three sexes to their
the people that had zero sexes, no gender.
There's that too, but the ones where they had to have a third person to procreate or whatever, and it wasn't like it wasn't up to the progenitor. Is that the one?
Yeah, the cogenitors. I think that's.
I'm sorry, but yeah, like they don't have a choice in the matter, and then like Riker falls in love with the one or whatever, or something like that. Unless I'm mixing up
the genderless species.
Is that the one I'm mixing up two different? No, thanks a lot, Script.
Yeah, there's two different episodes.
That one was called Outcast.
Yeah, the cogenitor one was basically a third gender that released a pheromone hormone.
Yes.
That was on Enterprise.
Okay, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, because Trip then decided to the third gender wasn't allowed to have have an education, read any of that sort of thing. They were just there used as
like a slave. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they decided to give this third gender, like Trip decided to let the teacher.
And it was Enterprise, not TNG, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then it really messed up the society, and I think it drove the cogenitor nuts or something. So
see, that's why I don't understand why everybody asks me to come on the Trek streams. Rob, Mecca, Andre, all of them are way beyond me when it comes to Trek. Like I'm the real novice when it comes to Trek, or novice, however you say it. Because I've watched scattered shows and all the movies, and that's about it. And the new shows, that's it. Yeah, Jedi Master Zootopia. Are you going to say something, Rob? Go ahead.
You have an opinion, and that's what people want.
No, I know, but I don't nearly have as much.
I'll go with the Trek shows if they ask me.
Well, yeah, like I'm just saying, like it's just weird because I always get asked on these Trek things, and it's like I always encourage them to ask you guys first because it's like I'm not that up to Trek. Now, if you're talking Ninja Turtles or Star Wars, maybe or
Roger
Rabbit,
Nightmare on Elm Street,
yeah, you're getting Jaws.
Yeah, I'm like Babylon 5, Stargate, Star Trek,
Gremlins,
Stargate, yeah,
Ghostbusters, that kind of stuff. He-Man. All right, Jedi Master Zootopia sends in $5. Is that you with Spider-Man? That's cool. Thanks to your last live stream, I bought the Phantom Menace on Audible. Well, good for you. I'm hoping you'll enjoy it and you like listening to Rob's voice because he does a great job narrating it. Even has a few surprises in there for you guys who listen to Midnight's Edge After Dark. Looking forward to Stephen Walton's writing and Rob's narration. And I guess Rob's got some competition for some of the books down the line. So we'll see how that goes.
From who? From what?
Remember, he said that there's a few people who are like chomping at the bit to read the next versions. So we'll see. Jason Barber sent $2. Thoughts on good Star Trek show for all mankind?
I heard the surprises. I'm very upset. Don't you know? I'm going to sue your asses, Midnight Edge and Stephen Walton. I don't want my name associated with this. Oh no!
I listened to it, and I think it was pretty dead on. Fucking, it was your voice. I thought it was you at first. I'm like, how the hell did they get you to do it?
Oh, you would think that, Frank.
I know. I hear your voice every goddamn day, even when I try to shut my ears off.
But I am not. Frank, I'm not that grating.
Okay.
Just go watch Congo again.
Congo is available on Blu-ray, by the way. Let me see how many copies are left on Amazon Prime.
He makes one movie about talking games, and I never hear the end of it.
Shut the fuck up. Let me have my say.
He's a toxic man.
Why is it you can't let me have nothing good?
Because you're a straight white male. That's why, Frank.
Oh, they
That's
got more.
Case, maybe you should divorce him.
Okay, folks, this is news. They got more copies of Congo on Blu-ray at Amazon. They now have 16. That means we have succeeded, plus there's more on the way. That's what I want to see, folks. That means Daddy's making money. Woo! I'm going to get a check for like $10 this month. Yeah!
With that, you can rent the entire band of Rush to play at your house for an evening.
Let me write that shit down. A Toxic Man flu. We're driving people away with that. $5. Spock's retirement gig. Pitching boner. I got to prepare myself for Toxic Man.
Ooh, did somebody say boner juice?
Yes, we need Takai to read this one, please.
Oh my. Ooh, Spock's retirement gig. Pitching boner juice. Not taking Viagra will be illogical. Live long and procreate. Oh my.
Is boner juice proper terminology to Mr. Takai?
Why, yes it is. Boner juice. Or probably erection. Oh my. I think I fouled that one up. Oh my.
Matt Deckard says $5. They'd have made a live action Rain the Boatmaker, but they can't find someone with a round enough head. Well, Ryan. Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson, yeah.
And his name is in the title.
Is there any more news, or have we hit the wall?
Well, there's some news. It's like we'll talk about it in a second. Willie Woodward gave $5. Says going to get the audible book for FM tomorrow, and then take a long shower listening to Rob's narrating prowess. That's a long ass shower.
I don't know if I should feel I should say thank you or be worried for you, Willie.
That's a very long audiobook.
You'll prune up in the shower, and that's a rarity.
It's like 3.5 hours, man.
Wait until you hear you guys hear I was trying to tease it, but he's already put it out there. Yeah, he does his Kennedy voice in the book for Kathleen Kennedy's quotes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's probably the best George Takei impression I've heard.
Oh, he's damn good at it.
You're really good. From Kathleen Kennedy to that. That's awesome.
Scary good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You should try and find Takei's number and then leave voicemails to himself.
It's me from the future. I just thought I'd let you know you're going to get a bad rash. Just like you did.
Make sure you stock up on calamine lotion.
Don't forget your keys and just hang up.
I'm sure. They'll say, somebody's calling me, claiming to be me from the future.
And his boyfriend or husband listens, and it's like, that is you.
Why did you leave this message to yourself?
I've met Brad, actually. He's actually pretty cool guy. I've met Brad. Yeah, was he Brad Takei, or I don't know what you call him.
But, they're married, I think. So
yeah, Brad's actually really good. Oh, Mexican Iron, but Brad is a really, really cool guy. I'm disappointed that the convention's not going to be in Boston this year. Otherwise, because he had booked that rather than Star Trek.
You got a picture with George Takei.
Yeah, it's on my phone. I gotta get it off my phone.
Send it to me. Anyway, do the Mexican Iron Man theme.
Hold on.
He means send you the picture, not the actual phone, Rob.
Oh wait. Yeah, Rob's one of those guys you'll see at like fucking the gas station, and he's like copying his phone on the copy machine because he doesn't know how to get a picture off of it.
You want to send it to you on Gmail or?
Yeah, it don't matter either or. Mexican Iron Man says, point of personal Mexican privilege. Or, hey, is that what it is? VHS must-haves. What about Apocalypto? What about Deliverance Director's Cut? There's a Deliverance Director's Cut?
Oh, boy.
News to me. I say, I've got the Blu-ray, I've had the DVD and the VHS. I've never heard of a Director's Cut unless he's just goofing around. Because, we definitely need to see that. I'll make Justin Proper watch that version instead.
He's only halfway through it. He stopped at the.
He didn't watch it.
He hasn't watched all of it. I keep telling him to finish it, but he's saying no.
He said it's boring or what?
No, he just said, "What the hell, guys?" And
he didn't even get to the best part.
No, he didn't.
There's no way, because that's like 2/3 into the movie. All right, Nikki D sends $5. Rumor has it that the next Captain Marvel film will be a mini Avengers movie. Think this tactic is proof that Brie Larson can't lead a film by herself. Yeah, this rumor has been going around quite a bit. I don't know about it being a mini Avengers movie.
It'd be like a Civil War style type.
I was thinking, yeah. I mean, I don't know if they'll have that many people in it, and I'm not sure if they'll actually bring Spider-Man in for that one. I don't know if they really waste their Spider.
We were hearing all those rumors about them trying to team up Spider-Man with Captain Marvel to make her more likable.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if they want to destroy what. Here's the thing: Spider-Man's already teetering. Like, a lot of people are not big. There's a lot of people that aren't fans of this new version of Spider-Man, and I totally understand that. I like it, but I understand that there's people that have issues with it. The ones that I don't listen to, or at least disregard, are those who like Spider-Verse but don't like or Iron Boy, as they call him, because it's like, okay, if you got a problem with Iron Boy and you don't have a problem with Aunt May having a bat cave in her basement, then we have nothing to discuss here. But if you actually have a legitimate gripe with, this is how I feel about the character should be portrayed and blah, 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 and whatnot, and so on and so forth, agree that Spider-Verse wasn't like the greatest thing ever, then maybe we can have more of a conversation. So, yeah.
Spider-Verse gets a free pass because nobody wants to say the movie with Miles Morales sucked.
It did. It wasn't that great. Now, granted, yeah, Peter Parker does get a bit more of redemption than Luke Skywalker does in The Last Jedi, and I get that's like one of your points of contention, Rob, is like you say he's treated like Luke Skywalker, and I agree. Through most of the movie, he is. But yeah, I didn't care for the film. I didn't think it was that great. Plus, how did he have time to wait for his suit to finish drying when the end of the world is happening?
Oh, with all the spray paint?
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Also, I mean, you have to have specific spray paint that works on fabric that doesn't flake off when you bend or twist or anything, right?
Well, not only that, Gwen Stacy shows up 3 weeks early, and starts going to the same high school. Do you know how big New York is? To know that, oh yeah, this is going to be the exact high school that Miles goes to, and this is going to be the exact class he's going to be going. You have a 1 in 11 million chance of getting that right. And
there's does not look happy with you, Rob.
Oh no.
You have to tell you like 3 times to get away from George.
What's going on? There's an
I gotta tell you one more time. I'm gonna kick your ass, kid.
There's a book signing at your local library, right?
Yeah, it was at the local library.
Does George Takei just look like that all the time?
Yes, he
like
does.
He's a happy man.
Yeah, he's very. He's very happy. I mean,
he was in Heroes, right?
Yes, he was.
He was signing copies of his graphic novel. They call this the enemy. So that's it's actually a very good graphic novel. If you get a chance to pick it up and read it. It tells a story about how him and his family were after Pearl Harbor were rounded up and sent off to an internment camp in Arkansas. And it was just conditions there were less than ideal. But his father and mother actually persevered. They kept the family, going as best they could. His father organized a bunch of the men in the internment camp to do things like, make pathways so that when the rains came, they wouldn't have to walk in the mud by nailing together a bunch of like pallets and skids together. And then they were presented with a choice. Hey, you would have to denounce your Japan, but we don't grant you citizenship to go fight in the war. So he'd be a man without a country fighting for a nation that didn't accept him. which was to him, which was to was it wasn't really a choice. I mean, he answered no. And the people that, do you denounce the Japanese Empire? Do you of your own free will, are you willing to fight for the United States but not have citizen status? The people would answer no to those questions. Both those questions, they would call them no-nos. I mean, really, that's a terrible, terrible choice that someone would have to make. I can't imagine someone making that choice, but yet there are those who did. The 442nd, the most decorated unit in World War II in American history, comprised of entirely Asian Americans. When the Germans saw them, the 442nd, wearing all the Japanese Americans wearing the American uniforms, they thought Japan had surrendered and switched sides.
You know who else was in the 442nd? Well,
was Mr. Miyagi.
I was going to say, even though he really didn't exist.
Oh, yeah. But, the idea is to say, Mr. Miyagi, report to kill many Germans.
Unai.
I love Mr. Miyagi.
Have you...
Karate, yeah. Karate, yeah. Karate.
Well used for holding up pants.
J.C. Penney, $3.99.
And you want to know, in Dragon the Bruce Lee, he said this exact same thing. We get belts. Belt means you don't need a rope to hold up your pants. Nerd Cookies, have you seen the Karate Kid? Have you seen the Cobra Kai, rather? Have you seen Cobra Kai?
I haven't, but I've been meaning to. But I hear it's coming to Netflix. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Should already be on Netflix. The current season should already be on Netflix. It's the 2 current seasons.
Is it?
I don't know if they made that transition yet, but they do have the movies on there now. I know that.
It is so good.
Is it good?
It has no business being that good. It is so good. Oh my God. It is unbelievable how good it is.
Yeah. It came out when my life just got really busy, but I didn't have I don't think I was on YouTube then. I can't remember when it came out. I don't know, but I was always interested in it, and then I just never got around to watching it. So it's I don't know.
We're kind of late for the 3rd season. The first 2 seasons were in April of the last 2 years, and they missed the mark on this one. But that's because they went for a new distributor and all that stuff. So, and I'm not sure if they're done filming it yet. Are they?
Oh, okay. Is it 5-minute increments or?
No. It's full half-hour episodes.
Full half hour. Okay.
Yeah, it's basically elongated.
It's
like an elongated movie if you watch, because the night the 2nd season dropped, I watched it all at once, so it was like watching a 5-hour long movie.
That trailer was so good. It was very compelling and very interesting. I know.
There's one scene in season 1 where if you don't get verklempt, you're not human. Tom won't talk about.
Mr. Miyagi, you think you could crack a big log like that? Don't know. Never been attacked by a tree.
So one thing I was worried about was the main character becoming the bad guy. So I was a little hesitant about it and kind of waiting to see. I think that's why I didn't watch it right away. The trailer seemed to paint him in a bad light, but what I hear about it is that it's really good.
It is kind of from Johnny's point of view, but it's you kind of got to go into the show remembering, it really helps if you've seen at least the first 3 films enough to kind of know the ins and outs of the relationships. Because if you remember at the beginning of part 2 and the end of part 1, Johnny's already kind of forgiven Daniel and he's moved on. It's Daniel who's still hung up on everything. And that's how they kind of start this off. And in that, all these years later, it kind of just shows how Daniel's gone down this path of becoming a little bit more egotistical and lost his way a little bit, but not to the point where he's still not Daniel. But that plays into the first season to where he realizes that even though he thinks he's doing the right things all the time, he's not following the lessons he was taught by Mr. Miyagi in his life. And it sets up the rivalry, and again, and just how it all works. It plays so well, pays so much attention to what came before, pays so much respect and homage to what did come before, at the same time passing the torch to the next generation in such a way that we wanted to see with Ghostbusters and Star Wars, and they just spot on. I mean, it's great.
Yeah. And you know what? That's so sad because I can't help but admit that because what happened with Luke and just these beloved characters, I think that kind of tainted because otherwise I'm sure I would have jumped on it right away, but that is tainted. I've just been so let down by my favorite characters and what people have done to them. And I feel so bad that that's how I feel, that I'm just so hesitant about seeing, characters that I loved in these new properties. I kind of attribute that maybe they're going to treat them the same. So, and I feel bad that that's how I feel when I shouldn't feel that way. And it just goes to what has been happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was so psyched for Picard. I was so excited. And I was so hoping that, because with the trailer treatments and everything, it looked like they were kind of going in a different direction than Luke Skywalker, the treatment with him. Like, they just used his voice, Mark Hamill's voice, to just lure us in. And then they just, like, completely sidelined him and destroyed his character. But the trailers for Picard were different. So I just built it up so much in my head. And I was so let down again.
But yeah, like
so sad.
Yeah, go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry.
I was just to say it was a gigantic bait and switch last year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And the thing with
I definitely will check this out though. I'm so
glad if you get a chance, I suggest check out the video that kind of inspired it. At least I'm sure it inspired it, and that was Daniel's actually the bully.
Yeah,
that kind of sets it up to where you can kind of see it from Johnny's point of view, and you're like, you know what, Daniel did kind of start it. And Daniel did kind of push it to the point. The only points that he didn't do anything is when he gets pushed down the hill. That's really the only time he's not involved in his own ass beating. Like he's the one who's a little hothead. If you really look at it from that angle, because all Johnny's minding his own goddamn business through the first part of the film. It's Daniel who sticks his nose in where it don't belong.
And when Johnny gets his butt kicked with his
Johnny
friends,
really
because they're chasing after Daniel.
Yeah.
For being,
and I love the end of the first film. Yeah, and Johnny just really just came full circle in his character. I love that part in the last film. And
where he grabs his trophy and hands it to Daniel and says,
Yeah.
And you see that in Johnny in this show. You see that he really is a nice guy who just got led down the wrong path by John Kreese. Like this whole time, like he wanted to do the right thing, like he wanted to be a good guy. And you kind of see the relationship between Daniel and him in a different light than you've seen it before, as far as like you kind of see it from his point of view. And that's why I suggest checking out that video, because that's kind of his point of view. Was like, I'll just mind my own goddamn business, and this punk ass kid come and shoved his nose in my business, and I was trying to just be nice about it, and he just kept being a little dick,
And I'm just gonna smoke a joint in the men's room, and all of a sudden he's like showering me with water. So then me and my buddies just come after him to kick his butt, because who would do that?
And if you really look at it, all Daniel's doing is antagonizing the fuck out of them that whole time before their tournament, when they're not supposed to beat him up. He's just using it to his advantage to piss him off. So like you really do kind of see it from that angle of like, yeah, Daniel is kind of a little dick.
Well, I'm glad they're coming to Netflix. It sounds like the show really deserves that larger.
Oh, it does. And it was such a big hit for YouTube. It was a bigger hit than STD by far. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Thank you, Lord Thoth.
Oh, you know Lord Thoth? All right. Canadian $2 says we love Elaine, and my wife says exact same thing. Well, thank you for joining us here, Lord Thoth. And I've heard so many great things about Elaine, and I was on a stream with her last week, I think it was, and been checking out her channel here and there. And I told Andre to check her out as well, because she does a lot of Dune coverage. And as you all know, Andre's
going to love her channel.
Big Dune fan. So, so definitely check out her channel. The link is in the chat, and I know Steven's been sharing everybody's links like a boss in the chat as well, earning that wrench. And I seen a couple other wrenches in there as well earlier. I think Chris Persia was in here, and Robert April's in here as well. And I don't want to leave anybody out. I did notice a few people in here as well. But yeah, Mr. Fat Steven Seagal has practically supported the whole show today if it wasn't for a couple of the other super chats. Thank you again for this. He says, and he's got another one after this too. Or wait, no, this is the one here. Okay. Oh, never mind. All right. Mr. Miyagi taught theft, stealing that black. That's just because he didn't think about it. That was kind of silly because you think they probably would have been able to just buy one there. There's probably like a sports shop right there with all kinds of stuff just in case. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody that brought in a bunch of stuff just to have there in case. You know, it's like these tournaments. I guarantee you they have a stand there. They could have just bought a black belt probably. But anyhow, it's still a funny scene. Well, the other news was Tenet is pushed to September, right? Rob, is that what's going on?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so they actually it was changed from indefinitely to September now?
It sounds like September, and then it's supposed to open in some theaters overseas in the end of August, and in select theaters in September, and then it's supposed to roll out to more over time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming, and this is just my assumption, I have not read anything on this yet. I'm assuming the first few theaters that it gets rolled out to are probably the few theaters that have 70 millimeter projectors, I bet.
Yeah, your multiplexes type of deal. Yeah.
Well, because that's the thing. Nolan does his films on film, on actual film, and film, and there's only like a handful of theaters at best in the U.S. that still have actual film projectors. And because that was the whole deal with Tarantino, where he got in a fight with Disney because they would not let him show, was it Django? I think it was, or no, not Django.
I think it was Django.
Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight up against the Last Jedi.
Hateful Eight. Yeah, they wouldn't let him show Hateful Eight in one theater because it's one of the few theaters that has a 70 millimeter projector in it because they had their contract with Disney and Disney wouldn't let them get out of it or whatever it was.
And he, yeah.
Or not so much they wouldn't let him get out of it, but they wouldn't let him have The Force Awakens if they wouldn't have it for 4 weeks or whatever it was. The deal was. And all Tarantino wanted it for was the one weekend so he could do his premiere and they wouldn't do it for him.
Yeah. It was the Cinerama, right?
I think so. The Cinerama Dome, which is one of the few places that actually has a 70 millimeter projector. Yeah. So I'm assuming that those will be all the places that probably get Tenet first, is my guess.
Is there any karate in it?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay. Then I might have to see
Nolan generally has some type of karate in his movies somewheres. You
There's
might like
some
Nolan
fighting,
movies. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're not great. They're good. I mean, Jeremy loves the shit out of him.
No, like I say that J.J. Abrams is what Christopher Nolan is what J.J. Abrams thinks he is.
Yeah, he wishes.
Yeah. No, because Nolan's pretty good. I personally think
Nolan's
better
Nolan
when he doesn't
Kubrick.
have. I would say Nolan is better when he doesn't have a whole lot of money thrown at him to get what he wants. I think when he focuses more on his characters and keeps his story world.
Rob's leaving anyway, so he's not listening. So
simple, he's at his best. But yeah,
I compare Nolan to like Kubrick. He's kind of like our generation's Kubrick, I think, in the way that he constructs his films and how anal retentive he is and stuff like that. Are you still there, Rob? No, he's gone.
Is this Michael?
No, I knew he'd do that. So we're talking to him and he leaves. He's like, I gotta. All right. Other than that, the other news was we kind of talked about on the main channel, but we haven't talked about it with Mecca and stuff here yet. September 1st, we get to see Bill and Ted in select theaters and in digital. So are you happy you get to see it finally, Mecca, now that you know you can see it?
Yeah. I don't know. Yes and no.
Did you like the new trailer? I haven't got to talk to you about it.
Okay. So the new trailer, I am worried it's going to be more centric on the daughters. No.
Don't go with that. Come on, everybody's doing that.
I know. I'm just concerned. I'm hopefully optimistic.
I think all the daughters are doing is getting the band together. So then the end will be a lot like the second film where they'll be like, oh, we don't have a band. And then Tia and Billy come in and like, oh, we got some friends. And then that's when, Bach and that chick with the flute,
the princesses,
Jimi Hendrix and all them come out.
Yeah, the princesses aren't in the band anymore, right? So as far as we can tell,
I don't know about that part, but they're only in one scene in the trailer. So that is a pretty funny scene. I love that. Mm-hmm. This is couples therapy. Well, we're a couple together. And then I love the death scene. He's playing hopscotch by himself and he's cheating.
I saw the panel that was hosted by Kevin Smith. It was okay.
I want to see it. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. I just haven't had the time.
Well, Kevin Smith's very predictable in how he talks, but the other stuff, the talking about the audition process from the original Bill and Ted, and how the daughters auditioned compared and what they did to sort of learn their parts, that was all interesting. They keep ignoring the fact that like the original movie, they didn't even get a distributor because the company that was originally distributing went out of business.
Yeah, it almost went straight to video.
Almost went straight to video, and then it was later that Orion picked it up. And
which Orion was on their last breath too.
Well, they were on the last legs, but the reason they picked it up is the guys that some of the guys that left the previous distribution company went over to Orion and then just said, "We got to do this movie." So because it was shot,
it tested well, didn't it?
It tested pretty well, yeah. But just nobody could get their heads around the concept, especially some like I think Dino Laurentiis did not understand what the word "dude" meant, and that's why he's like, "I don't understand what they're talking about." Yeah.
Mr. Wolf
production history from
sends $5 says, the more I see about Bill and Ted, the more I get the I don't know feeling. And I get that. I'm holding out hope. Again, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But I think it's going to turn out like Jay and Silent Bob reboot. You're going to have a lot of people like me who thought it was just fine. I seen it for what it was, a parody of reboots and this woke culture. And then there's a lot of people who just see it for its surface level stuff, I think, and they're just dismissive of it because it's Kevin Smith and it's got a diverse cast in it without actually paying attention to what's being said in the film, I think. And that's just me. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know anybody else on the panel who's seen the movie besides me, so.
Oh, I've seen it. I thought it was okay.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I saw it as like, when they add in like the Scooby crew, it's like they make a point of it being so diverse and they even make a few jokes about it, and stuff like that. And it just, I don't know. I thought it was
they made some good
obvious
jokes. They also kind of did walk the line of SJWism with some of the stories from the girls' perspective. But at the very end, it kind of turns.
But they make the one chick the bad girl. Yeah, they make without giving too much away. So it's like, I mean, and Red Syrup agrees with me, I guess. But I've seen a lot of people out there that are just freaking out about this and same kind of things I saw with Jay and Silent Bob. And I thought that normally I'm not an optimist though, John Willis, but I've talked enough to the creator. I've been in the world of Bill and Ted deeper than most people are for years. Like I had all the comics and all that kind of stuff and watched, all the shows, and if there was anything Bill and Ted ever, I was on top of it. So
so you've seen that like 91 television show? Oh, I'm sorry.
All of them.
Oh God. They missed the mark on what Bill and Ted was in that series.
Oh yes. Goddess of Whim 2003 sent us another $2. Says Prison Bill is now the stuff of my nightmares. Okay. Sure. Anyway, Lorca was a lost opportunity. Yeah. There's theaters near me open again. As far as I know, just like a lot of the bigger cities haven't opened up yet, which is what the studios need, and that's the only reason we're getting a lot of these people or this theater showing a lot of the older films right now, because until the bigger cities open up, they're not going to get anything. Fat Steven Seagal beating up Ryan Johnson sends in another Canadian $2. Says station. Well, station to you. Yeah. That word didn't mean jack shit. They were.
You had it, yeah.
They just made it up. They just kept saying it to each other, so they put it in the script. Well, you get to a point where you do that speak so long. I mean, for those who don't know, the original concept of Bill and Ted was actually improv group. And there was 3 of them. There was Bill, Ted, and I can't remember the other character.
I think the other guy's character was Adam or something.
Something like that, Eric or Adam or something like that. And it was the three of them would do the improv. And at that time, Rufus was just a hippie in a van.
Yeah. Like the older guy, like the 30-year-old hippie at the van, yeah.
Yeah, so they would just do these skits. And that was their whole thing. Like they said, they pretty much got Bill and Ted's characters down. It's like basically they figured the 2 of them, the 3 of them at start until the other guy left, and it just became Bill and Ted. But it's like the 2 of them would basically share a brain.
Between the both of them, yeah.
Yeah, between the both of them, and they didn't have any malicious bones in their body. They just wanted to be everybody's friend. They didn't do drugs. They were pretty straight edge. And that's kind of they had the concept of the characters pretty well established before they wrote the story. And then I can't remember what the origin of the idea of this whole thing of like, oh well, they would have a rock band and they would make I can't remember where that part came from. That was later down the road.
Chris Matheson's dad. It was Chris Matheson's dad, Rick Matheson, I think, who did Omega Man. Wrote Omega Man.
Okay, I didn't know that part.
Yes, it was a. Oh no, this is actually quite fascinating. So there's they also addressed this on the panel, but I know a little bit more about this because there's this stuff that was flying around when I was in college. They wrote a sketch movie of little bits. In part, one of the stories was Bill and Ted trying to ace a history test. And
so it'd be more like a Monty Python kind of movie.
Yes, exactly. And Chris took it to his dad just to get his thoughts on, like, is this a proper structured film, what have you? And his dad said, these Bill and Ted guys, you can make a whole movie out of that. And then that's where it started.
Yeah, because then originally it was, I know they said that, because see, when in the making of and other interviews I've seen, they skip over that part and they just jump to the van thing. And they're like, yeah, Rufus had a van that would go through time, but then Back to the Future came out. So they're like, oh, well, we got to change that. So they changed it to the phone booth.
Yep.
Cool, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because otherwise it was Rufus who had a time-traveling hippie van. A little VW bug that would go
that they didn't know was a time traveling van, and then they end up appearing like in various parts of history and trying to figure out a way to get back. And the joke was that every disaster in history was accidentally
it was their fault. Yeah,
like the beginning of the Titanic.
That part I remember. But yeah, all right. I think
it's just so cool. I'm glad they went with that.
But yeah, and then like I said, I'm looking forward to this movie. I thought the second trailer was hilarious. I think we need a movie like this. Hopefully it is what I hope it is, and it's not all about the girls, which I don't think it is. I don't think Ed would go to that point and really assure me that it's about Bill and Ted. And I've seen some of his tweets where people have said stuff. He's like, the movie's called Bill and Ted Face the Music, not Bill and Ted's Daughters Face the Music. So like he's really putting that out there, and he's one of the few of these people. Ed Sullivan, that is, Chris Matheson is his partner, not like partner, their writing partner,
writing team.
Yeah, and he even said it. He's a big, liberal, anti-Trump person, and he's even said it though. Like he does not care what you think, as far as like, because somebody said something like to him about, oh, well, you're all leftists and stuff like that. So does that mean because I'm a Trump supporter, I can't like Bill and Ted or something like that? And he responded back, he's like, no, I want everybody to love Bill and Ted. He goes, I apologize because sometimes I go a little overboard with my politics, but Bill and Ted is for everybody. And that's the kind of, that's the kind of attitude that a lot of these people need to start remembering that they should have in Hollywood. You know, it's okay to wear your politics on a sleeve, but also remember that half your audience does not agree with you. And that's what I think is lost on most of these people in Hollywood right now.
And the most powerful thing entertainment can do is bridge those two halves together in something that they both like. Star Trek did it.
Well, it would be hypocritical if you did, because like he said, Bill and Ted, they don't care about politics. They just want to have a good time and everybody to have fun. That's what they were about. You know, they aren't even like Bill and Ted aren't even like Beavis and Butthead, where Beavis and Butthead are a little bit more malicious in their, daily routines. Like they're out to destroy shit and get laid, and get high somehow. Bill and Ted don't do any of that kind of stuff. So, I mean, at least you can even, in comparison to Beavis and Butthead, Bill and Ted are clearly the, like I said, they're the more clean cut of all these, buddy teams between Cheech and Chong, Beavis and Butthead, and Wayne and Garth even. I mean, even they're probably more in line with Wayne and Garth in that they're a little bit more straight edge in that sense.
And also, like, there's no real cursing in any of the Bill and Ted films. Really.
Oh, no, they do very little. They don't curse much at all, if ever. I'm trying to think if they've ever cursed.
I think the most they do is, like, damn, or hell.
I don't even know and even when they talk about hell, it's usually about hell. 69 is probably the most provocative thing they do.
Yeah.
When they
that's good too.
praising Tom.
Family friendly.
Well, I mean, it's done to the point where a kid won't get that joke. So
yeah, he's like, "What number are we thinking of? 69, dudes." But that's the whole joke: is anybody their age, that's the numbers they're gonna pick. But their whole thing is they just want to go to the prom with the princesses. And they're not even thinking about, even the more racier stuff. They just want to go to the prom and have fun,
Yeah, I think we definitely need this movie right now. We just want to have fun and escape.
Yes.
So I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, and I think that the daughters are going to be more involved. Like, we got the scene right there where we saw Ted's dad. Like, be a father to your daughters. Get a real job. So obviously they haven't done shit for 30 years. They probably have been shit parents. So like that's the whole thing is like while they're off on their adventure trying to figure out what song they're supposed to write. Like I said, their daughters are they're thinking one step ahead and they just try to get the band back together. So that's all. I mean, or a band together, not the band back together, but a band. Like because we see a few of them, and I think that's all it is. So their little adventure will parallel the first movie a little bit, but I don't think it'll have enough to hang on to where we really will be paying more attention to Bill and Ted because we know they go to hell, we know they go to the future, we know they do this, that, and the other. That's all going to take up time in the movie. So I mean, I feel like their daughters are just going to be kind of side characters, and then just we'll find out at the end that they're going to be like, oh, we wrote the song, but we don't have a band. Whoa. What are we gonna do? And then Tia and Billy come out and they're like, "Oh, we got these guys." And
I think Tia and Billy are probably going to go on a similar adventure to what the first two movies were, but it's going to be such a side thing. Like they're going to be repeating what Bill and Ted did, but it's like like off to the side because Bill and Ted are trying to figure out how to write the song. We kind of got a spoiler with that in the trailer.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay.
What the hell was that? You set something on fire, Rob?
Yeah. You experiment with some things. Yeah, mixing some.
You got to pay attention to the label on your Mikey Spock doll. It is highly flammable. It is made out of pure wood.
Yeah, and it's got paint and varnish on it
with 0 points of articulation,
just like the real thing.
Mm-hmm. Damn it!
All right, now that we've scared Nerd Cookies more than enough. Unless there was any big news left to talk about, I say we.
Nah, there really isn't. I mean,
I think she said "be right back," so she didn't hear that anyways.
I guess the last thing that we saw is that Alex Kurtzman pretty much already said that they're using Star Trek as a platform for their stuff.
Oh yeah, we totally forgot about that. Well, we brought that up on the main channel, but
yeah, that's about it. Really, I think we already knew that kind of.
No, but it's just more confirmation, just like Leslie Headland was for Star Wars, and we've heard from some of these other places where hasn't even Chin Balls, isn't he even said it kind of mecca when it comes to Doctor Who, that it's pretty obvious there too.
I think so, yeah. Well, yeah, and it's all Kurtzman stuff. He basically they're using Star Trek as a 45-minute long infomercial for their activism, which they don't even believe in. Like if you listen to what Kurtzman says in there, he's like, "Oh yes, we want to bring the rest of the world into our, because we have it so wonderful and everything's awesome." Okay, if everything's so wonderful and awesome right now, then what do you need all this activism for? What are you fighting?
Right.
So, or either that, or he's just completely all over the place, which I think he is most of the time. I think he has probably some sort of ADHD or something. And he's talking about Star Trek being hopeful and optimistic and wonderful. And we need to make the world now more like Star Trek in the future. But you guys broke Star Trek, and it's not this hopeful, optimistic thing. Maybe they think it is. It seems like they think it is. It seems like they legit think that they're actually giving us this hopeful, optimistic thing. It's like they're sitting there watching the videos of everything we're criticizing them on, and they're just saying, yes, but we have all of this. And they're trying to convince enough people, if they say it, that that's actually true.
Yeah.
Keep line over and over again, and yeah, or we'll give up. Or that I'm thinking they're hoping we give up.
Well, no, they just not only that, they just don't understand Trek. That's the bottom line. The bottom fucking line. Because if they did, they'd realize, oh, we live in this optimistic, perfect world in Star Trek. It's all these other places that are fucked up, and we use modern day social commentary through other aliens and races and people. You know, not our main characters usually. You know what I mean? Like, how many episodes like can we bring up on an average basis where they're talking about some type of social, you know, a situation that's going on in the headlines or what have you, or even racism or something like that? That's just a common everyday thing that we talk about, it seems like, anymore.
Well, yeah. See, the concept with Star Trek was that let's take the core of what the idea is on the social aspect, like back in the 60s and for a lesser extent the 80s and 90s, and be like, well, what's the actual core of it? What's the thing that we can translate so that it doesn't feel like we're just, you know, ham-fisting this down someone's throat, and how do we explore it? Because in some cases, especially like the episode The Drumhead, they basically took a look at, like, this is something we've had done in history. What did we learn from this, and how can we sort of reconvey that same message in this new setting? And it has not. It's a very universal episode because it has nothing to do that was going on at that time that I'm aware of in like 1990. I don't recall any witch hunts being occurring in 1990. Do you guys at all? Because that's what the Drumhead was.
I don't know.
No, it was definitely more of a commentary on like the McCarthy stuff.
Well, I was gonna say, or you could, or
Salem witch trials, even.
I would say, unless it was commenting on them going after like rap music and shit in the 90s, but that's probably giving him too much credit, even.
That's a little different, yeah.
Yeah, but no. I mean, that's why we keep talking about the Orville, though, because it does it right. You can do these things. Yeah. You can do social commentary in a way that isn't preachy, that is topical, that doesn't tell the viewer what to think or how they should think or what your view is, but more or less, this is the side A, this is side B, maybe even side C, and the rest is up to you. You know, that's generally the way Trek worked. That's the way Orville works now, and that's what they forgot when it comes to Trek. I mean, it's just anyway.
Yeah, the Orville has really surprised me, and it's definitely like the spirit of Star Trek.
Oh, definitely. We keep saying over and over again that you could slap Star Trek on it, and it would be perfect. It would fit in just fine.
Yep.
But yeah, like I was saying before you took off for a second there, Nerd Cookie.
Sorry.
We know. He said, well, we've scared you enough for tonight. We should probably wrap this up anyhow.
Oh, no. This has been a blast.
Glad to hear. Check out Nerd Cookies, of course. Check out Mecha Random, Script Doctor, all of our lovely guests, and, of course, Stephen Walton in the chat, and Captain Robert April, and everybody else who's one of our wrenches who has a channel. Check them out as well. Until Wednesday, I guess I need some music, Rob. Or, well, what kind of puppy did we earn today? I don't know if we earned a maximum effort puppy.
Definitely medium, because we've gone almost 2 hours. That's pretty good.
True. Do we get a Fenton?
Yeah.
Or a minimum effort puppy? I say minimum. We haven't seen a minimum effort puppy in a while.
Oh, he's so cute.
There's face. Look at the face.
Yeah, we haven't had a minimum. We haven't had a minimum effort puppy in a while. So we want to thank Elaine once again for hopping in and dealing with us hooligans here on Midnight's Edge After Dark. Rob, you want to give me some music? Wrong music. Thanks again, folks.